Welcome to The Walking Trophy. The Walking Trophy is a podcast for high-level entrepreneurs and performers who know they were built for more. On this podcast, we explore how movement, fitness, and embodied discipline sharpen your leadership, regulate your nervous system, and expand your capacity to create, serve, and lead at the highest level. Through conversations on performance, energetics, and purpose-driven success, this show reframes the body as your greatest asset for sustainable power, abundance, and impact. Welcome to The Walking Trophy.
Welcome to 2026, the year of the unknown. Yes, I have decided to theme 2026 the year of the unknown. That is my intention going into 2026 because I have decided through a series of events, through a series of experiences, that I genuinely cannot think of a better way to go into this next year of my life than to take my hands off the wheel and say, you know what, universe? Do your thing. Show me what you got, girlfriend. I am here, ready, and willing to receive all opportunities that you so decide to bestow upon me. And you know what? It's interesting because with all of the topics that I speak about, with all of the conversations that I bring forward, with the specific area of work that I do, taking your hand off the wheel and relinquishing control can sound a little bit backwards. And I have a very good reason for knowing that this is the best path forward for me and for you if you are somebody that decides, you know what? Enough is enough. Like, fuck this. I'm ready for a new life. I'm ready for new opportunities. I am ready for shit to change. The unknown and embracing the unknown is going to be the way there. And please allow me to explain the logic. Because this does not mean that we are going to stop acting. This does not mean we are going to stop goal setting. This does not mean we are going to take our foot off of the intention wheel. Of course, we are still going to be setting intentions, setting goals, and being on top of our goddamn actions to get there. Allow me to explain how I view the unknown, what this very strange concept that I brought forward really means when you understand it in the context of how we can live day-to-day life, and why I truly, with my full chest, know, not just believe, know that embracing the unknown and allowing this to be the guide, to be the leader this year, is what is going to create my quantum leap, and I want it to create your quantum leap too. Okay? So this, in no small part, has to do with the fact that I was at a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat 2.5 weeks ago. And yes, I will bring that up at every opportunity that I can because it changed my life. Who's surprised? But I was at the retreat, and the entire theme of the retreat was quite literally titled Gnosis. And I actually thought they made that word up, but apparently it's a word in ancient Greek, and it means to know the unknown. So that was the entire theme of the retreat. So this concept of the unknown, I did not invent it. That is not a novel concept that I created in like the depths of a meditation one day. No, the unknown is a familiar concept, ironically. The unknown is a familiar concept that a lot of people speak about in the spiritual and energetic space. And I am embracing it for very good reason. And so let me just explain what the unknown means in this context. So I am going to give you a little debrief, a little hash here of a peek inside the world of Dr. Joe Dispenza teachings, if you are unfamiliar. And this is really a culmination of many different leaders, many different guides, many different talking heads in the space that I really love and admire their work and that I've become very familiar with. So the concept that I think is really going to nail this home is that if you want to create a new life, if you want different results for yourself, if there is something that you've been trying to create and you just can't figure out why you keep getting stuck, or there's an aspect of you, of yourself, that you really are trying so hard to change, but you just can't figure out why you can't change it, if you're stuck, there's a goal and you're stuck, there's a big old wall in front of you and you don't know how to get around it, then this concept is very important, and it's something that I've really been internalizing this year. It's the concept of the phrase, you can't, create the solution to a problem from the same level of mind that created the problem. Well, you also cannot create a new life, a new reality from the same level of mind that's keeping you trapped in your current reality. That makes sense, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, why would that be any different for your life? It's not just like jamming a key into the lock and it's the wrong key for the lock and you just keep doing it over and over again and expecting a different result. It's not just that tangible. It can also be, why do I wake up and I decide that I'm going to have a different attitude, that I'm going to be the happiest person alive today, but I get up and something spoils my attitude in the first 5 seconds because I open social media and I see a horrific news headline and suddenly I'm in a bad mood. You know? Why would you open up social media first thing in the day? That is a action that has actively, for days, if not months, if not years on end, led you to create a poor mood first thing in the day. Then that action, that level of mind that is created from that action, is going to persist until you choose to change it. And maybe instead of opening social media and looking at the news first thing in the day, you decide to throw on a 10-minute meditation. You decide to do a breath work. You decide to get up and stretch and listen to a sound bowl. You can decide how woo woo you want to get with this, but you understand what I'm saying. You can't create a new future with the same habits, the same actions, the same thoughts, the same beliefs, the same emotions that you have right now. Because if you keep doing those same things over and over and over again, you're going to keep being the same person day after day after day. Another reference, if you're somebody that decides you want to go get stronger at the gym, you're not going to get there by continuing to not go to the gym or by continuing to only do 20 minutes on the treadmill and then yeeting out of there. Or to use the same weight that you've been using for the last 6 months and not picking up the heavier one. If you want to get stronger, then take the actions to get stronger. Okay. So you guys understand this from a tangible perspective. What I'm saying, to become a new person, you got to take new action. Okay. Now, when we think about the concept of I can only create a new reality, I can only become a new person, I can only jump to the highest timeline, which is different than the one I'm on right now. If I allow my mind, my body, and my soul to calibrate to this new level. So, how do we do that? That's the golden question. So, I'm going to bring in another concept. This one is definitely more specifically from Daddy Joe. And I want you to think about a timeline. Literally, you could draw out or visualize a line. And right now, this present moment is right in the middle. If you go backwards on the line, you're looking at your past. If you go forward on the line, you're looking at your future. When you go to your past is a culmination of every experience you've ever had and every emotion that occurred as a result of the experience and every memory you've collected from these experiences. And every time you think of a memory, whether it was when you had the best birthday party ever when you were 11 years old, or that time that you broke your arm when you were 4, or that time when you had your first ever sleepover party with your friends when you were 9, or that time when you found out that your family pet died when you were 7. All of these experiences, everything that has happened to you until this current moment, you can look back on it, remember it, and you can relive the emotional experience of that moment. Whether it was a significant emotion or whether it's more of a subtle encounter with this emotion, every experience you've ever had until now, you can look back on it. You can have an emotional experience from that memory and you can understand everything. You're very familiar with your past. Now, when we think about your future, it obviously has not happened yet. So why can we often feel like we can predict the way the future is going to go? Why can I say tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to wake up. I'm probably going to do the meditation that I do every single morning. I'm probably going to get up and then get ready for training. I'm probably going to be 2 minutes late because, hi, that's me. I'm going to drive there on the same route that I always go there. I'm going to have my training session. My coach is probably going to push me and probably going to be out of breath. Maybe I'm even going to be a little bit tired. You can start to predict the next day. Why can we predict the future? Because our past experiences have created an expectation around the way life goes. I don't expect tomorrow when I drive to the gym that I'm going to be driving on the highway and all of a sudden a hot air balloon lands in the middle of the highway. Where did that example come from? I don't know. But I'm not expecting that to happen because that has never happened to me before. So I'm not going to create a future where I go, oh, I bet these crazy things that I've never even thought about are going to happen. I'm going to go, no, I'm going to get up. I'm going to drive to the gym. I'm going to have my training session. I'm going to drive home. I'm going to make that coffee. And every predictable experience that I've had up until now, I can use to predict in general how I think the future is going to go. And it's based off my previous expectations. Okay, we can understand this concept. You have your, what Joe Dispenza calls, familiar past, and then you have your predictable future. Okay? Now, the level of mind, the level of consciousness that you live at is a culmination of what has happened to you in the past and what you expect to happen to you in the future as a result. So, me now, the Caitlin that I am right now, and the person that I intended to become is all based upon how I'm acting, how I'm feeling, and how I'm thinking as a result of the experiences that I have had in my past, allowing me to decide how I'm going to act in my future. Okay? So everything is either a known past experience or a predictable future experience. And the only place on that timeline where we are not living life or acting based upon what we can create in our minds as a memory or an expectation is the present moment. The present moment is the only dot on that timeline where we are not simply living off the past or simply living in prediction of the future, but we're just existing. And in this precious little space on this timeline is the concept of the unknown. If we can shut down our senses, and as this is where it's going to get a little hippie, so I need you to stay with me, be open minded this episode. We can shut down our senses, close our eyes, and try to tune into just pure existence. Daddy Joe calls it nothingness. You become no thing, no one, no body, nowhere, in no time. And you try to just become existence itself. This is the unknown. And in the unknown, there is every single possibility that could ever exist. It's infinite possibilities. This is where the quantum concepts come into play. In the quantum world, everything and nothing exists at the same time. So every single possibility is a possibility. And so in this present moment, where we take away all of our senses and we try to just melt into the unknown, melt into the nothing, melt into just the existence, this is where we can create infinite realities. This is where we can use the observer effect to try and manifest an outcome. So, with that being said, the unknown is the space where every possibility exists and where the possibility, the version of you that you're working so hard to create, the version of you that you want so bad, the experiences that you want so bad, the desires, the intentions, everything that you want and that you're working to create exists in that unknown present moment. Okay. This is where if I was, continuing with the Joe Dispenza work, we would be getting into the science of the meditation and the quantum, again, bringing in the observer effect and how we are going to manifest realities into the present moment, how we can heal our bodies, yada, yada, yada. Go study Joe Dispenza's work if you don't know what I'm talking about because it's fucking fascinating. Anyway, so the concept of the unknown is that the universe wants to give us everything. It wants to give us everything we desire. It wants to give us so much love. This is where some concepts of Kabbalah come in. It wants to give us so much love. It wants to give us everything we could ever hope for and more. Because the thing about the universe is it's an infinite intelligence and it's an unconditional source of love. And so we think we know what the best possible life could be. We think we know how good it could get. We think we know what our top desire is. We don't even know a fraction of how good it can get. We don't even know a fraction of how much love and goodness the universe wants to pour into us. Because we are incapable of comprehending that amount. we are incapable of understanding just how much the universe wants to give to us. And so we think we know what's best for us, but at the end of the day, this is the concept of like God's plan. The universe knows best. Just trust in the powers that be because that understanding, that love, that potential that exists from the creator itself, from source, from the divine, that is a level of blessings that we cannot come up with in our little human brains. And so, because the universe wants to pour into us so much, and because we have these desires, we have these intentions that we want to create, every single one of you is listening to this because you have a deep desire to create change and impact on the world. I don't just talk to anybody. I talk to movement-led individuals, mission-led people, people that have a revolution on their heart they want to create. They want to create a world that changes. They want to leave this world better than they found it. Those are my people. You are the people listening right now. You have this desire on your heart. And you think you know how good it could get. But the universe, source, is the only one that understands just how good it can get. And so, when you try to predict, when you try to control the outcome of what you're creating, of how good it can get, of how much change you can make, you are not allowing the power that created the world to take the driver's wheel and say, chill out. I've got this. You don't even know how good it can get. Let me drive this car and show you just how much you can receive, just how much I have to give you. And that comes when we say, okay, I know that I don't know everything. I know that I can't even comprehend this level of greatness. I know that you know better. So what I'm going to do is step back, sit in the passenger seat, take my foot off the gas, and I'm going to let you drive because I trust you. I trust you. I trust this infinite source of love, this infinite source of power to deliver to me the impact that I intend to create. Because I know if I try to control it, I know if I try to predict it, I know if I try to micromanage every single way that it shows up in my life, even if it's really great in my mind, it's still not as good as it could be if I just said, okay, universe, you got this. Okay, universe, I trust you. I trust you. So the reason that 2026 is the year of the unknown for me is because I learned intimately, I became so intimately familiar with the understanding this past year that I know nada. I know nothing. I have no comprehension for just how big I could dream and just how good it could get. And I have a heart full of such pure intention for where I want to bring this work, for the level of impact that can be had on this world, for the ripples of change that can be created when women really step into their power. When they say, I'm going to leave this world better than I found it, and they just go full force into that, I see it. Oh, I can feel it with my whole body. I can see just how good it can get. But I know that whatever I see in my head, it's not even half of how good it could get. I can feel in my body how aligned it feels, and I'm gonna ground into that. I'm gonna anchor into that. I'm gonna allow that feeling to exist in my body. That's great. That's actually fuel to allowing things to get really good. But when it comes to how it's gonna happen, the way it's gonna happen, how much impact can be had, the way that it's going to ripple out into the world, that's not up to me to decide. That is what I am giving to the universe. That is what I am saying that is unknown to me. That is where I am saying, hey, take the reins for me. because I was put here for a reason. And I have a mission on my heart that means more to me than anything in the whole world. It gives me full body chills when I talk about it. And I want to create the biggest possible impact that I can create. So all I'm going to do is expand my vessel to receive more blessings, expand my vessel to receive, to have the ability to receive more greatness, more love from source, from the divine. And I'm going to act in alignment with where I'm going. I'm going to act in alignment with my mission. I'm going to take actions and set goals and set intentions around spreading my work, spreading my impact, spreading my mission. And I'm not going to shut up about it, which is why you're tuning in here to this podcast. This is part of it. This is part of the action. I'm not saying, okay, universe, decide for me, and then not recording the podcast. I'm not saying, okay, I don't know shit, you decide, and then sitting on the couch and reading a freaking book. Like, no. I'm taking actions that are in alignment with my goals, in alignment with my desires, in alignment with my mission. And I'm saying, okay, universe, I'm going to take the action. Because I'm taking the action, I'm also going to be open to possibilities. Now, you bring in these unknown factors. You bring in that connection. You bring in that collaboration. You bring in that conversation. You bring in that client. You bring in that opportunity. I'm not going to decide how it comes to me, but I'm going to act every single day in alignment with allowing myself to hold more, to receive more, and to do more. And as I do and as I receive, I'm going to allow you to show me how this work expands. Because you guys, you know what? I'm sick of playing small. I'm sick of it. That was one of my reflections from 2025. I'm not going to play small anymore because this work is too big. It's bigger than me. If I play small, I'm allowing my self-imposed limiting beliefs to keep my work, my mission, my purpose for being here small. And there are some lives I got to change with this work. There are some people that need this. And I'm not going to play small because that's not living in alignment. That's keeping my vessel closed off from receiving. I want to receive it all. I want to see how good it can get. I might not understand how it's going to come to me. I might not understand how it's going to spread. I might not understand all of the ways that I'm going to quantum leap into the person, into the version, into the experiences that are going to take me to that next level and get this work to the people it needs to get to, because I don't even know who these people are. That's also the unknown. The universe is going to bring them to me. It's going to bring me to them. It's going to connect us when I allow myself to be in a state of receiving while taking action of giving, and say, okay, universe, you do your thing. You bring it to me in the way that it's supposed to happen. And I am just here to act in alignment and to calibrate to that level. When that happens, when I allow that unknown to be my guide, that is when I am allowing the magic to unfold in my life. It's not leaning into the unknown because I don't have a North Star. It's, hey, I decided my North Star. I'm going to start moving towards it. I'm going to start navigating the ship, allowing the North Star to be my guide. But I'm going to allow the universe, the space, to intercept and interfere and come in ways that I never could expect. So again, it's not having a North Star and saying, I don't know what I'm doing. It's the unknown. I'm saying I have my North Star. The unknown is how I get from destination A to destination B. I'm going to show up. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to put myself out there in every single way that I possibly can. Because again, I have a mission and I'm trying to impact the whole freaking globe with this shit. So I think people need to hear this. And what I'm going to do is be open to surrendering and saying, I don't know how this is going to lead me to that North Star. I don't know how this action is going to multiply the way that I want it to. I don't know how that next opportunity is going to find me to get this to more people or however that applies. But I do understand that as I open myself to receive more, as I calibrate my body to live in alignment with this level of greatness, with this level of receivership, and as I ask the universe every single day to show me, to guide me, to lead me, that as it brings possibilities and opportunities into my life, I'm going to be ready to act on them and receive them. So the unknown this year is saying, I have goals that are so big they don't even make sense. There's no logic. There's no level of reason that I could use to justify why I'm acting towards this. It doesn't make sense why I'm claiming a goal of this magnitude, but I don't have to know how it's going to find me or how I'm going to get to it. All I have to know is that I'm going to listen and I'm going to be open and ready to act and receive opportunities that allow this to expand. I'm going to wake up and choose action that aligns with that crazy ass goal every single day. And I'm going to allow the universe to do its thing, to show me what I could never predict, and to lead me to create the yellow brick road that I will follow to achieve this goal. It is the ultimate act of surrendering and allowing myself to not have to control every little detail. Because you know what that does? When you release control, only the people that only the people that have had intimate experience with control are going to understand this. If you know, you know. When you feel like you need to be in control of everything, it's a very stressful state of being to live in. You're in fight or flight constantly because every little thing is going to bother you and it's going to tick you and it's going to trigger you because you need to control everything. And when things don't go right, there's a whole explosion, right? But when you release control, not every little thing drives you up the goddamn wall anymore. Not every little thing drives you into such dysregulated emotional states. And you can't create when you're in a state of dysregulation. You cannot create when you're in a fight or flight state. You cannot create when you're that stressed out. And so what it does is it brings you into a state where you can create more and you can be open to more. You can think outside the box more. And that is how you make that next breakthrough. That's when you have that download. That's when that opportunity comes to you and you're open to receive it because you're not stressing over every little thing that you thought you needed to predict and expect. This is the secret. This is the code right here. Surrender. Surrender control. Act in alignment. Calibrate your vessel. But then surrender the how. It's that simple. I'm not going to say it's that easy because it is quite the challenge when you're used to trying to make every little thing control under your wing. However, it is the ultimate act of trust. And so, as my theme this year is the unknown, and as I head into a year of truly embracing the unknown, and you know what? Not even just embracing it, not even just accepting it, but like really loving it and giving so much gratitude to the fact that I don't know what the future holds, that I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm just so excited when I get the opportunity to receive it. This right here has led me to my word of the year. Okay, so if my theme of the year is the unknown, my word of the year, I have decided, is certainty. Again, any of my Kabbalah folk are going to immediately resonate with that word. But I am going to have certainty beyond logic. Shout out David Ghiyam. Certainty beyond logic, certainty beyond reason, certainty beyond anything that 3D has shown me. I'm going to have certainty that it is working out exactly as it is supposed to because Source knows more. Source knows better. Source has the understanding that I can't see from my perspective. It's like being in a turtle in a world full of giraffes. You know, I'm the turtle. All I can see is the ground. The giraffe can see the whole area around me. I'm going to allow the giraffe to tell me which way the water is. It's a crazy example. These examples are just coming out the wazoo today. But you can see what I'm saying. Source can see what I can't see. Source has the perspective that I do not have the luxury to see. So I'm going to have certainty beyond logic because the world that I can see, this little turtle world on the ground with these big strips of grass around me, meanwhile the giraffe is like, that's not even half the size of my toe. I can see way more than you. It wouldn't be logical for me to only listen to my perspective when there's this giraffe, sorry, source for comparing you to a giraffe, that can see so much more and that understands the bigger picture of the environment that I'm in. So my certainty is trusting the unknown. My certainty is knowing that when I set this goal that makes no sense, that I just trust that as long as I follow the process and as long as I do the work and I'm open to receiving, that it's going to show me, again, the yellow brick road to get there. I trust source. I am certain that everything that happens was supposed to happen and it was divinely occurring. That does not mean I'm always going to be happy about it. And that feels important to mention. I will probably do an entire episode on that. It doesn't mean that everything is going to make me feel good. It just means that everything was divinely placed to get me where I'm trying to go. And I'm going to have certainty that everything happens to me is a gift. Everything that occurs, I will bring gratitude to. Again, even if it is the last thing I want to experience. I'm going to understand that everything is happening because it needs to happen that way. It needed to happen that way. And at the end of the day, having the certainty and trusting in the unknown, surrendering the control, releasing the reins, and allowing the source that can see everything, that wants to give me unconditional love, and that has a power that obviously I don't. I'm going to trust in it. I'm going to have certainty that it's going to all work out exactly as it's supposed to. And I'm just going to see what a year of surrender looks like. Because I ain't never done that before. This was a hell of an episode to start the year off with, because I feel like that was a lot of intimately sharing the inner workings of my brain. And I understand that this is only going to land with the people it's going to land with. There are going to be some people that listen to this and go, oh God, she has lost it. And that's okay. That's your prerogative. Everybody is allowed to create their own perspective of how this world works. And I've learned to really love mine. 2025 was a year of getting to know me on a really deep spiritual level, getting to understand the energetics that I align with, getting to understand what I don't align with, having more discernment in the information I choose to guide me versus the information I choose to say, you know what, maybe that makes more sense for somebody else. And it's been a really beautiful journey. And so I say things that, again, they're not going to land with everyone, but it's not supposed to. And I'm so confident, maybe for the first time in my life, and understanding that I won't be understood by everyone. But as long as I respect myself and I understand myself, that's really all that matters. So I don't need to know what's happening in the future. All I need to do is have certainty that it's all happening exactly and divinely as it's supposed to. So welcome to the inner workings of Caitlin's energetic brain. I can't wait to share more like this. If this resonated with you, and if you feel like this information, if we're speaking the same language right now, go ahead, follow the podcast, because I'm going to be talking about this forever, and share it with a friend who you feel like resonates with this, or even maybe opens a conversation for them. Make sure you are subscribed. And if you liked this episode and if you resonated with it, can you please do me a favor and message me on Instagram, which is fit by KP. It'll be linked in the show notes. I am really trying to expand my community of fellow conscious creators, conscious entrepreneurs, conscious people. People, I don't care what your 9 to 5 is, conscious people. I'm trying to really expand and curate that community. And anybody that resonated with this episode, like, I want to talk to you and I want to have a conversation and I want us to connect and be friends. So please shoot me a message on Instagram and just say hi, introduce yourself, and let me know what resonated in this episode. And if there's anything that you want to talk more about, I love conversation. This type of conversation is soul food and it keeps me alive. So love you guys, and I will catch you on the next episode.